Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. I watched the debate last night. It was brilliant. It was car crash television, and I did see one person emerge from it, though, who I thought would be an excellent First Minister for Scotland. This person was insightful, intelligent, seemed to have, finger on the pulse of the nation, knew what was important, knew what wasn't important. Obviously an intelligent person who would be, in all ways, an excellent First Minister. Unfortunately, of course, that happened to be the interviewer, Beth Rigby. The three idiots she was talking to, none of them came across as First Minister material. The particular bit I loved was Ash Regan and the first, the National Bank, the National Bank of Scotland. And she's saying, if you're going to have this central bank, what else goes alongside it? And Ash Regan just looked and opened her mouth and shut it a few times like a goldfish because she didn't know. She didn't understand the question. In her mind, everything is independence, independence, independence. And then she's picked a few keywords out of that tiny little brain of hers. And one of them she landed on was central bank. But when asked to explain how she would set it up, the institutions that would need to go alongside it, things like that, she didn't have a clue. And it was marvellous to watch. You actually watched a woman sit live or stand live on national television and see her realise that she was an idiot and that she had no chance of winning and that she kept changing the subject and trying to get Beth Rigby off this subject of the central bank that she knew nothing about. And it was marvellous to watch. But that's not to say that the other two came across any better. Humza, of course, had his record highlighted by Kate Forbes. Once again, she lashed into him to say that everything he'd done was useless. And then he responded by saying at least he's had a job where he can fail in. She's never even had that level of responsibility. It was like two children fighting in the schoolyard, and it was marvellous. Of course, it didn't take him long to play the R card, because hey, if it's not my stupidity and inability to do a job, it must be you looking at the colour of my skin and making decisions. No, mate, it's got nothing to do with the colour of your skin. It's all to do with the fact that you're an incompetent buffoon. Kate came across a bit schoolmarmy. No, I couldn't say she's not intelligent. She is intelligent, definitely an intelligent woman. But she seems to sit in an ivory tower and look down a little bit. And I don't think she's in touch necessarily with the grassroots and the groundswell of people. So she sort of sits above. Unfortunately, of the three, I've got to say personally, I think of the three, she's the best of the three. But she's still not very good. But otherwise, it was complete car crash. Now, I want to concentrate here. We have an article here, and it was something I picked up on during it, or towards the end of it. It was more or less the last thing that they talked about. And they were asked what their views were on J.K. Rowling. Now, we're going to take a look at this now, but there was something that jumped out straight away while watching it. But we'll go into this now, and we'll have a look at the article. Here goes. So, Kate Forbes says she agrees with brave J.K. Rowling on transgender rights in another bad-tempered SNP TV debate with Humza Yousaf and Ash Regan, as all three leadership rivals demand independence vote from Keir Starmer in order to make him PM. The argument they've got there, before we get into this, the argument they got there is if there's a general election and Keir Starmer emerged as the leader of the largest party but without an absolute majority, he would need to form an alliance. And the SNP have said that they'd probably be the second biggest party in Westminster, and they would happily work with Labour, but the price would be independence. Now think about this from Keir Starmer's view. If the price of having a majority with the SNP acting alongside was independence from Scotland, and he gave independence to Scotland, then all those Scottish MPs would then leave Westminster and he wouldn't have that majority. Why would he give them independence, knowing the moment they were independent there'd be no Scottish seats in Parliament, and so he wouldn't have the necessary majority to rule? These people they lack the logic, don't they? They think, that's really, really dumb, isn't it? But hey, so he's not going to offer it if it means losing power and forcing another election which saying he couldn't win. Who knows? Anyway, SNP leadership hopeful Kate Forbes tonight said she agreed with brave J.K. Rowling on transgender rights, as she and her rivals faced another live TV grilling in what again became a bad-tempered TV debate between her and fellow candidates Humza Yousaf and Ash Regan. Ms Forbes faced close scrutiny of her socially conservative views. I've got to say, Beth Rigby pinned her to the wall. She kept on about gay conversion therapy. And what Ash said, sorry, not what Ash, what Beth Rigby was asking was, do you agree with it or should it be banned or whatever? Now, Forbes said that she says it's wrong and no one should be coerced into this therapy. And she said that she firmly believes people have the right to lead their lives as they see fit. And that's absolutely fine. That's a good answer. But Beth Rigby then pinned her and says, right, so are you saying that all forms of conversion therapy should be banned? And then she kept on saying, Forbes kept on saying, no, nobody should be forced into it. No, I agree, nobody should be forced into it. But that isn't what Rigby was asking. Rigby went on to say, no, we're not talking about coerced therapy. We're talking about voluntary therapy. Do you think voluntary therapy should be banned, where people themselves request it and other people then do it to them? Do you think that should be banned? And of course, where she was going with this is, imagine you have someone who's very, let's say, religious, like Kate Forbes, who then had, say, a child that decided they wanted to be gay or they were gay, things like that. Would Kate Forbes go to the point where, even as the parent of the child and saying, oh, you shouldn't be gay, let's try and see if you're not gay, it may just be a phase in it, that would technically be conversion therapy, not coercive, but still conversion therapy, and would be illegal. And of course, Forbes didn't want to go down that route, and so she kept trying to bypass it, push it away to one side, deflect. And she made a very bad job of it because it became obvious that she was very, very uncomfortable answering that question. But anyway, the 32-year-old, a member of the Evangelical Free Church of Scotland, almost saw her campaign collapse amid a series of car crash interviews last month. She admitted she would have voted against gay marriage and branded premarital sex wrong. But attempting to continue her recovery from those early woes tonight, Miss Forbes, last night obviously, Miss Forbes insisted she did not disapprove of unmarried couples and gay married couples. Yes, she does though. She's already said she disapproves. So either she was lying then or she's lying now. Which one is it, Kate? When did you lie? Anyway, she also branded conversion therapy abhorrent, although stopped short of saying she would ban the practice entirely, which I've mentioned. Both Miss Forbes and Miss Regan described Miss Rowling, the Harry Potter author and a leading critic of the Scottish Government's gender identity reforms, as brave for speaking out on the issue. Meanwhile, despite another series of bitter exchanges between the three rivals, there was agreement amongst all of them they would need to demand an independence referendum as the price of SNP support for a Labour government at Westminster. Now, I'm going to raise and go back to this J.K. Rowling issue. They asked all three, Beth asked all three of them, did they think J.K. Rowling was a national treasure? Humza answered first, and he said yes, but. He says he completely disagrees on her issues, on what she said about transgender rights. So let's just get this right. Humza has stood on live television and said J.K. Rowling is a national treasure, yes, but he disagrees with her views on transgenderism. So he is disagreeing with a woman who says, and her view has always been that she supports transgender people, and he disagrees with that now because he said he disagrees with her views. So she said that she supports transgender people, so now he disagrees with transgender people. She says that transgender people must have full rights, but he now disagrees with that, so he's saying that transgender people shouldn't have full rights. And she says, however, women need protection and need safe space areas from biological males. So he's disagreeing with that. So he's saying that women don't need protection and don't need, their own safe space areas. So Humza is actually saying he disagrees with trans rights and he doesn't want women to have safe spaces. This is a man who wants to be elected leader of the SNP and First Minister of Scotland, and he disagrees with women having safe spaces. Women of Scotland, I ask you, who would you vote for? Now, the other two women, the other two people, the other two candidates, who both happen to be women, both said not only did they think that J.K. Rowling was a national treasure, they both completely agreed with J.K. Rowling's stance. Indeed, I will give Ash Regan her due. She resigned over the issue because she felt that women's rights were not being protected. And of course, given her religious stance, it was not unexpected for Kate Forbes to agree totally that women are different from men and should be protected. But nobody is saying that transgender people are having their rights removed. No one is saying that a transgender person cannot go into a changing room. What we are saying is a biological male must not go into a female changing room. That's the difference. And that's all the kind of thing that J.K. Rowling is saying. She's not asking for any kind of reduction in human rights. All she's saying is, can we keep the biological men out of women-only safe spaces like our hostels or crisis centres and things like that. DV hostels. Don't want men in there. And why should they? So that's her view, and she gets completely castigated for it. But isn't it funny how the only man in the race says that women should not be protected, that women should not have a safe space, and that apparently trans people should not have rights because he disagrees with everything J.K. Rowling stands for on that issue. His words, not mine. What a strange man he is. But, you pays your money, you takes your chance, and it's up. I think really it'll be up to the ladies of Scotland to decide who the next leader is. And if all those women in the SNP who have a vote, you need to look to see who will do the best for you. Will it be a woman who wants you to have a safe space, or will it be a man who doesn't? Anyway, I shall round off there and come up. So there you are. You've got three idiots and you've got to pick one. I mean, honestly, which of these glittery turds will emerge? I think it's probably, given the result of last night's, if that was the deciding factor, it would be Kate. I did see, and one thing I did like was that Beth Rigby did ask Humza Yousaf about him missing the gay marriage vote, because Humza has actually said about Kate, it's a good job that she wasn't there at the vote. She says that because she would have voted against it. But of course he missed the vote, and she nailed him on that one. Did he miss it because of his religious conviction? And he tried to waffle on and say, no, it's because of invent some reason. But then Beth Rigby said about Alex Salmond, saying under oath and on record that he missed it because of his religious conviction. And he went, he'll say that because he's in a different party. And Beth Rigby said, no, he was still the leader of the SNP when he said that. And you can just see the eyes glaze over on Humza there, because the guy doesn't know how to lie very well. We all know when he's lying, of course, his lips are moving. But he's not very good at it. Give Sturgeon a due. She was a great liar. She could lie like the best of them. But Humza Yousaf is just pretty useless, even lying. So yes, we know any criticism he makes against Kate because of her religious conservatism. This is coming from a man whose religion forbids homosexuality, and he deliberately missed the vote because of it. So full of shit, I think, is the technical term. But that's, what do you expect? They're all politicians. They're all full of it, aren't they? They're all absolutely up to here with it. But anyway, I shall round off now. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed watching the car crash last night. And if you did, please hit that subscribe button and help the channel out. Makes us grow, makes us that a little bit louder. Also, leave a like. I said it before, because it's all political and we have the elections going on, YouTube tends to hide political videos. And so to help get the message out there, if you put likes in, the algorithm picks it up and just spreads it about a little bit more. So do hit the like button. Other than that, thank you very much for watching. Until next time, stay safe, stay well. Remember, it doesn't matter who gets in, you're screwed, and goodbye.